when it comes to this? Like, do you get tired of hearing that?
Well, no team's going to win every game, and yeah, it does upset us some when we hear we're not physical. We do spread it out and run it, but just because you don't have 2 tight ends and 3 fullbacks in the football game at one time doesn't mean you can't be physical. Every time that we've won a game against a physical team, not much is said about it. The few games that we've lost in the last 5 or 6 years, everybody seems to try to find something to point toward and points toward that. But like I said, our players take that as a challenge whenever they hear it.
I was talking to Jameis yesterday and sort of asking how he felt he'd fare without having to deal with Crayola mode. He's like, I deal with the best secondary every single week in practice and how that helps them. When you're breaking down with them, can you talk about the challenges that their secondary poses and how you can counter them?
Well, they got a lot of guys that can run and make plays. I think that's going to be typical of any team, Florida State team or any team down that direction. They have a lot of athletes they can choose from, and they recruit some of the best. That being said, we've played a lot of good ones too. So these guys are definitely among the best players that we've seen on defense.
How so?
I think this is a fast group. Really impressed with number 8. He can really run. He's long, disrupts a lot of things, makes plays, batting balls, making tackles. Been really impressed with him. I think PJ, the one corner, is as fast a player as we've played in the secondary. Other corner number 3, both other safeties that play. There's not really a weak link in the secondary. So, we have good players too. It's just going to come down to executing and playing well, and we'll try to put our players in the best position they can to make those plays.
Scott, when you turned the film on for the first time, what was the first few things that you noticed?
Well, they got a bunch of athletes. That's the first thing you notice. I think they're sound in their scheme for the most part in what they do. To me, one of the big keys to this game is we need to be able to dictate. Sometimes as an offensive coordinator, you can sit and try to see what they're doing and figure out what our answer is to that. If we're reacting to what they do, then we're not at our best. We need to do what we do and try to make them react to what we do.
You mentioned those 4 immediate timeouts. What does that mean for you guys? Is it getting first downs on those first and second downs or early in the possessions?
Yeah, I think first downs are key. These guys are stout up front. Imagine, we're going to try to run the ball early, but hopefully as the game goes along, that'll get a little easier. I give a ton of credit to their defensive staff and their players. They do a good job on defense, do a great job in all phases. So the game will be slowed down a little bit more than we're used to because of these timeouts, and we're really going to have to try to stay on the field with offense and get some first downs to get the game where we want it.
Did it remind you of anybody athletically, schematically, you played this year?
It's hard to compare defenses. I think athletically these guys are as good as we faced. Michigan State was really athletic, but maybe not quite to the level of these guys. Like I said, we've played some really good defenses. Statistically, Stanford and Utah and Michigan State, some of those teams rank up there with the best in the country. I think Florida State might be more talented than some of those teams, but we're ready for whatever challenge is thrown at us. We played some really good defenses, and we're looking forward to this one.
And lastly, how about your offensive line? How proud are you of them? They've rotated so many guys, and probably going up against your biggest front.
Yeah, the offensive line, it's been patchwork all year. Coach Greatwood's done a good job. Guys that were called on that weren't expecting to play that have played have done a great job. Early on when they were thrown in, we had a few struggles, but those guys have really matured and developed as the year's gone along. And we got a bunch of more guys healthy right now than we've had almost the entire season. So we're facing a good front, and we got to be ready.
Can you give us a sense for how you've been sort of integrating Hronis more into practices to get him ready to play?
Well, Hronis is on the fast track right now. He's been out there all week, going full. We're hoping he's as close to 100% as we can possibly get him for the game. But Hronis is a fighter, one of the best kids I've ever been around, so he'll be ready to play.
What makes him stand out that much to you?
Hronis has exceptional character. That's one thing I'm the most proud of about our team is the character of our football team. We go out of our way to recruit good character guys, and I think this team, more than any other that I've been a part of at Oregon, exhibits what we want an Oregon team to look like. Our guys are truly men of Oregon. When you get those types of kids, it's easy for those guys to put team ahead of themselves, and this group is really bonded as well as any Oregon team that I've been a part of.
I don't think people understand.